Hello, 6th graders. This is Mr. Campbell, coming to you not in my classroom, but to you digitally. That's right, we're in the third dimension. Ooh. Today, we're doing things a little bit different than normal, as you can see with this whole pandemic going on. Today, though, we're still going to be doing some math. We're still going to be doing some language arts. So let's get started with math. Go ahead and take out your notebooks and take out your pencil. Go ahead and put today's date. Today's date is Monday, April 13th, 2020. Now let's go ahead and look at our I can statement, our objective for this lesson today. Our objective today is I can understand the meaning of exponents. Now, I know that it's been almost a month since we've talked about this, but let's review a little bit about exponents. Now, as you can see on the board here, I have a large group of numbers. I have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is, at the top of my head, I couldn't figure this out. But as I told you before, mathematicians like to make things simple. So in order to do that, they take these large group of numbers and squish them together. I have 4 3's in my problem here. So I can make this 3 to the 4th power. As I've talked about before, when looking at exponents, you often always start with your base number. Now, 3 is the common number here in my base term, so my base is going to be a 3. The 4, which is also called the exponent, is going to be how many of 3 I have, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So my answer to this problem would be 3 to the 4th power. Now, go ahead and pause this video right now. What I want you to try to do is I want you to try to give me the exponent of this problem right here. Go ahead and I'll wait just one moment. All right, so how many 5's do I have here? That's correct. I have 4 5's. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my base number is going to be 5. 5 to what power? Right, 5 to the 4th power. Correct. Very good. That's easy. We've done that before. But as I always say, let's kick it up a notch now. So, and I were to ask you the following question. Is this side the same as 3 to the 4th power? Now, for anyone who's walking off the street who happens to just look at this problem and goes, no, it can't be like that. You got 9, you got 3 to the 2nd power, and you got 3 to the 4th power. There's no way that this can work. But what if I were to tell you that's not the case? That sometimes, like I talk about a lot, like with life, you have to look at things from a different perspective. Now, if we look here, 9. What and what make 9? Right, 3 times 3 gives me 9. Now, like I just talked about before, could I not make 3 times 3 into an exponent power? Yes. Yes, I could. I could make 3 into 3 to the 2nd power. So, I went from 9 times 3 to the 2nd power equals 3 to the 4th power to now 3 to the 2nd power times 3 to the 2nd power equals 4. So now, are both sides equal? I see some people are still a little bit confused on this. And truth be told, if you were in 8th grade, we would talk more about this. But for the sake of you 6th graders, I'm going to make things a little bit easier for you. Because I have 2 up top here, I can combine those together to give me 3 to the 4th power. So, are both sides equal now? Right, yes. Both sides are equal. Yes. Excellent. Now, normally this part I ask questions, but seeing as how this is a digital lesson, if you have any questions, just feel free to give me an email. Let's look at the following next 3 examples I have for you. So my first one is I have 2 to the 4th power equals 2 times 4. My second problem, I have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 3 to the 5th power. And I have 16 to the 1st power equals 8 to the 2nd power. Now, what I would like you to do is you may go ahead and pause at this moment in the video, is I want you to tell me whether or not these 3 problems are true or false. Are either sides of these problems going to remain equal? Go ahead and pause that video right now. Okay, let's go in and take a look now at whether or not these are true or false. 2 to the 4th power. Well, let's look here. If I were to expand this out, I would get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 again is 16. So 2 to the 4th power would be, in fact, let me use a different color for this, would be 16. Now what is 2 times 4? I can't pass you guys. It's 8. You are correct. So, for my first problem, is this equal? The answer is no. It is false. So I'm going to give a big old F for false. Looking at my next one, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 3 to the 5th power. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mr. Campbell, you just told us about multiplication. Addition, you didn't teach us. You're right. Because you can't make an exponent from addition. All you can do is add up these 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Right. 3 to the 5th power. Let's see. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator here because if I knew this off the top of my head, I'd be a whiz. So if I did 3 5 times, I would get 243. So is 15, or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, equal to 3 to the 5th power? The answer is no, the math doesn't add up. You are correct. Now number 3. 16 to the 1st power equals 8 to the 2nd power. Well, let's look here. 16 to the 1st power is just going to be 16. But what about 8 to the 2nd power? Which is what? 8 times 8, you are correct, which is going to be 64. So once again, I fooled all of you guys. If you thought some of these were true, you are incorrect. They were all false. But let's look at a true problem. Let's do one more. Are both sides going to be equal? The answer is true. And the reason being is because, looking here, I can convert 5 times 5 times 5 to 5 to the 3rd power. And 5 to the 3rd power can remain the same. So both sides are going to be equal, and that makes it true. And I'll give myself a little T there for true. Any questions? Please feel free to give me an email about this lesson. I'll be more than happy to guide you on any problems you may have on your homework. All right. Now that we've looked at a few sample problems, your homework is going to be posted in a separate document in Google Classroom, where I will have a few comprehension questions for you to answer regarding this lesson. Now, in your notebooks, go ahead and turn to your exit slip, which I will be posting right now. With your exit slip, this is a summative assessment of what we've talked about today. So, let's say I have the following problem, and I'll make this easy to start things off for you guys, 6th graders. Your exit slip today, is this problem true or false? Is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 equal to 6 to the 3rd power? I'll give you a brief moment, then I'll review with you today's exit slip. Okay, so I could probably guess about half of you thought this was going to be false, when in actuality it's true. But you got to look at it from a different point of view or a different perspective. Sometimes you have to move the numbers around to make your equation true. Right off the bat here, 6 to the third power is just 6 times 6 times 6. Okay, so we have to accomplish 3 6s here. Now, what two numbers do we know makes 6 when I multiply them? 2 times 3. If I were to, let's say, rearrange these numbers around, and let's say I were to pair them up into 2 times 3, because I have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, I could pair these up to where I eventually end up with 6 times 6 times 6. 6 times 6 times 6 could be what in terms of exponents? 6 to the third power. So 6 to the third power could equal 6 to the third power. So in doing so, I can understand the meaning of exponents. We understand that exponents can take large group of numbers and make them into a smaller variable with a base and an exponent. And sometimes, looking at both sides of the equation, we can sometimes move things around or simplify them in order to see that both sides of an equation can be equal. Yes, excellent. All right, join me next time when we delve into our next lesson on exponents. Stay tuned.